for me personally, I've been in friendships where, everyone's white and then there's me. Those never work out.
Yeah.
Sadly to say, like, great people, love them still, but I can't relate a lot of the times. And then I find myself, kind of trickling back to relationships with people of color. We can sit down and have conversations where, you're like, I relate, like, oh my God, remember that one time? Like, this happened to me too. But also I feel like you're more willing to talk about, those situations as well, to relate to them. And I think it's just funny to see growing up, how my relationships and friendships really have grown.
Yeah. I really connect and resonate with what you just shared. Like, I remember like having people, specifically white girls, that wanted to be friends with me when I was younger, but it really felt like I'm the black friend. So like, come over to my house so we can like poke and prod and just like watch you do your cool black things. Like, it just felt just like super weird and yucky. And I would always just blame my parents, like, sorry, not allowed to go over, which wasn't entirely false, but I would just always use them as an excuse because I literally couldn't go anywhere. Well, not anywhere, but like they had their, curfews, restrictions, whatever. But it just felt like weird. But when I would like connect with other folks of color, I'm like, okay, like this feels different. Like, it feels genuine. It feels a bit more authentic. And I think that's what I need. And just like, even having like relationships, friendships with other, like different women of color, right? So like my sister from another mister, she's Cambodian, for instance, right? And we connect so much and have since we were like 14, right? And that like relationship and like having that friendship for like over 15 years, like that is so important to me. But I think that one of the things I've learned is like to be able to connect with folks like across our differences, but not necessarily like, oh, your differences don't matter, because they do, but it's like bring who you are to the table and we'll engage with whoever you are. So it's been interesting to see how that's like shifted over the years.
I think that has to do like a lot to do with communication and friendship. I think being able to grow with someone and being able to communicate how you're feeling, be able to communicate like what's going on in the world. I think that definitely has to play a part into it, because I feel like when you have more of a diverse group of friends, you're able to share ideas and experiences with each other, being able to be more accepting of it.
It's funny how, Sade, you were bringing up like family like restrictions and like rules and stuff, because that plays a big part in relationships and friendships. Like not being able to go out or like not being able to visit someone. Like my entire life, I was never allowed to sleep over any of my friends' house.
Never.
Yeah,
Absolutely
never.
not.
Like
No.
never.
My mom tried to
never.
get me out of the house. I would always stay inside.
Oh, I could
No,
never.
like I've had my best friend since I was in the first grade, and we're still best friends to this day. And my mom's like, you're not sleeping in no one's house. You got a bed right here. And like, it's just like, it's always been this thing about like, your house is something sacred, or like, coming home at night is something like you're supposed to do. So like things like that, and people don't get that. Like, especially like white people. Like my friends, as I was saying, like I went to a predominantly white like middle school. Like they would always have sleepovers like after like a middle school dance or something, and I would have to just go home. And I'm like, I can't do what you do. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you get it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and they're like, why? And I'm like, I don't know why. Like, what?
Especially, at least for me, especially because I was the only girl. I have two brothers, so they didn't have the same
That's hilarious.
conversations. They did not have the same conversations I had. Like, they could do what they want, but for me, I would plan like how would I approach a conversation with my parents, specifically my dad. Like, okay, what is he gonna ask me? Parents, boys, this. Boom, I got it. And I'll like, catch him when he's feeling good. So it's like, hey, Pop, there's this thing. No, it's like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. But it was hard to explain to like the white students that they could not understand it. They're like, so you can't sleep over? I'm like, no. Like, it's not a thing. But then with my other friends of color, like the one, she's Cambodian, one was Nigerian, no explanation needed. You know why? Because they weren't inviting me to sleep over because they couldn't sleep over themselves. So it was understood, but it was always like, my parents said no, and I don't understand. And my dad would always make it a point. Like when he would tell me that I couldn't do something, he would follow up with, I'm not one of your little white friends, right? Like I'm not your white friend's parents. Like this is not what we do. And I remember one of my friends, she's Puerto Rican, but her mother is white, and she grew up with her mother. So she was just like, well, like she could stay over at anyone's house all hours of the night. Not to say like that's what all white folks do, but like for her, she really struggled with like, why can't you do this? And I was like, why are you doing this? Like, this seems like a lot. So it was just like a huge disconnect.
Yeah, and having like curfews at home and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like I'll be going out. My mom was like, "Oh, you need to be home by like 11:30," and my friends would be like, "Well, why do you need to be home by 11:30? It's not that late." And I'm like, "Well, my mom wants me home by 11:30."
And if not, you get the call.
Exactly, you get the call.
Hey, where are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, and it's so like especially with like sleeping over, like even now, like I can't sleep over my friend's house when I'm home. So like it's
You know what's
just,
the funny thing? I was just talking about this with someone the other day. I was like, it was like you would go out with your friends or something like one day of the week, and like let's say like 2 days later, like you guys want to do something else. My mom would be like, "You were just out."
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was
You're
like, "Why are
asking
you
for
going
too
out
much.
for again?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Or like if you go to someone's house, you just stay there for like it could be like 2 hours, and then you come back. Why do you always want to be at their house for? You're putting them at a disadvantage. Like
Yep.
they asked me to come. Like it's not like
Yeah.
I asked them to go, but you know it's just like okay, well I can't go anyway, so you know.
And if they let you go, tracking you, you get the text.
Bringing
You're
up
on
your
the app. You're like,
phone.
why aren't you? Why,
All of it.
where's your
Yeah.
location?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll also send you with something because you can't show up
Empty-handed.
without yeah,
Yeah,
empty-handed.
never.
And so
Yeah.
now when I have guests come over, something
You always
like that,
make stuff.
I'm
now.
always freaking out. I'm like, okay, so what if they want to shower? What if they want to do this? What if they have fruit like allergies?
All the
I'm
things.
like, now I'm going crazy.